Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India and Vietnam signed several MOUs to further energize the comprehensive strategic partnership. PM Modi says Vietnam an important partner in India's Act East policy Indo-Pacific vision. Israel confirms Hamas military leader Mohammed Daif's death in airstrike day after Ismail Haniyeh's assassination. Daif was mastermind of October 7 attack. An Indian shooter, Swapnil Kusale, wins bronze, third medal for India at the Paris Olympics shooting event. Becomes first Indian to win a medal in men's 50-meter rifle, 3 positions. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with his Vietnam counterpart Pham Minh Chinh in New Delhi on Thursday. After the talks, several MOUs were signed between India and Vietnam in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vietnam PM Pham Minh Chinh at Hyderabad House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vietnam PM jointly inaugurated the Army Software Park at the Telecommunications University in Nha Trang, Vietnam. Both sides signed and exchanged MOUs for cooperation in customs capacity building, agriculture research and education, maritime heritage, medicinal plant and also in legal fields. The countries also exchanged MOUs on credit line agreement and restoration of My Son UNESCO World Heritage Site in Vietnam. A MOU was also signed between India's public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati and Vietnam's national broadcaster Voice of Vietnam on exchange of radio and television programs in fields of agriculture, education, science, entertainment, sports, history, tourism, news as areas of mutual interest, subject to contractual and intellectual property laws in force in their respective countries. And while delivering a joint statement with Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh at Hyderabad House, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called Vietnam an important partner in Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision. He stated that the two nations have good coordination regarding the Indo-Pacific and support evolution and not expansionism.
हमारी एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी और हमारे इंडो पैसिफिक विजन में वियतनाम हमारा महत्वपूर्ण पार्टनर है। इंडो पैसिफिक के बारे में हम दोनों के विचारों में अच्छा सामंजस्य है। हम विस्तारवाद नहीं, विकासवाद का समर्थन करते हैं। हम फ्री, ओपन, रूल्स बेस्ड और समृद्ध इंडो पैसिफिक के लिए अपने सहयोग को जारी रखेंगे।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also stated that a new plan of action has been made to further strengthen our comprehensive strategic partnership.
सिक्योरिटी के क्षेत्र में सहयोग के लिए नए कदम उठाए हैं। नया चांग में बने आर्मी सॉफ्टवेयर पार्क का आज उद्घाटन किया गया। $300 मिलियन की क्रेडिट लाइन पर बनी सहमति से वियतनाम की मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी सशक्त होगी। हमने यह भी तय किया है कि आतंकवाद और साइबर सुरक्षा इस विषयों पर सहयोग को बल दिया जाएगा।
In his address, Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh lauded India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi leadership in bringing dramatic increase in Indian people living standards and more.
The leadership of the BJP and the Prime Minister have brought about great benefit to the Indian people. We are deeply impressed by the hallmark of His Executive Prime Minister, such as electricity coverage for 28 million poor households, 5G connection social security, and a dramatic increase in the people's living standard, and food security for all, including 800 million who benefit from free food. This is a result of a great effort from the Indian government and His Excellency Prime Minister personally.
Earlier in the day, Vietnamese Prime Minister met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi welcomed his Vietnamese counterpart with warm gesture. And both the leaders held bilateral talks at Hyderabad House in the national capital. Substantive discussions to further energize the India-Vietnam comprehensive strategic partnership topped the agenda. Both the leaders held wide-ranging talks and agreed to further expand the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. And earlier, Prime Minister Modi received his Vietnam counterpart at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where he received a ceremonial welcome at the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The visiting dignitary also inspected a guard of honor by the Combined Defence Services. And the leader also visited Rajghat and paid floral tributes to Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi. All right, to talk more on this, DD India's Akshay Dongre is joining us live from Delhi. Akshay, what do we know about the talks between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister of Vietnam? Several agreements have been signed between the two sides after the talks.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. In fact, when we look at the kind of agreements that have been signed, when we look at the kind of body language that the two leaders exhibited, in front of the delegations, both in front of the Indian as well as the Vietnamese delegation, one thing has become quite clear, that Vietnam is going to be quite a crucial country as far as India's Act East policy is concerned. In fact, the Vietnamese Prime Minister today, while issuing the joint statement, also said that it strongly supports India's Act East policy. It has decided to join India's CDRI, that is Coalition for Disaster Relief Infrastructure. And in fact, there have been several memorandums of understanding that have been signed, be it in terms of telecommunications, be it in terms of agriculture, in terms of broadcasting. So there have been a range of MOUs that have been signed today that goes on to show that both India and Vietnam are ready to take their partnership, they're ready to take their alliance to the next level. When we look at the geopolitical location of both India and Vietnam, they share common threats, they share common challenges, and also look at common opportunities, be it the Indo-Pacific region, the South China Sea, or the Indian Ocean region, where one common threat has been, in fact, uniting the ASEAN countries as well, as far as the South China Sea is concerned, where transgressions by the Chinese Navy has become quite a threat for the countries in that particular area, in that particular region. And that is why we can expect both of these countries to not just talk about and chalk out a 4-year comprehensive partnership, but also to implement it as soon as possible, because under the changing geopolitical scenario, the Vietnamese Prime Minister has also said that we have a set of challenges that are perhaps greater than the opportunities that we face at this time, and that he spoke about the reality of today's geopolitical scenario, both in the Indo-Pacific region as well as the South China Sea. And that is what both these countries may work upon together as far as tackling these threats are concerned.
Absolutely.
Wherever they may be.
Right, Prime Minister Narendra Modi holding wide-ranging talks with his Vietnamese counterpart. Thank you, Akshay. We'll leave it at that. Shifting focus, Israeli military said on Thursday that the head of Hamas military wing, Mohammed Daif, was killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza last month. Israel Defense Forces announced that on July 13th this year, military fighter jet struck in the area of Khan Yunis, and following an intelligence assessment, it was confirmed that Mohammed Daif was eliminated in the strike. Daif is believed to have been one of the masterminds of Hamas' October 7 attack on southern Israel. One of Hamas' most dominant figures, Daif has topped Israel's most wanted list for decades. All right, we'll go across to Tel Aviv. DD India's Sarah Kotz is joining us live. Sarah, the military's confirmation it had killed Daif comes a day after the killing of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. How do we see this development, and what's the reaction in Israel?
Yes, hello there. He has had a target on his back for a very, very long time. Now, he's really seen as one of the architects, the mastermind, if you will, of the October 7 atrocities. Now, we've heard from the Defence Minister, Yoav Gallant. He posted on X shortly after this news was broken, saying that he was the Osama bin Laden of Gaza, adding that this is a significant milestone in the process of dismantling Hamas. Now, the Israeli military has released the images, the pictures of this strike that was about 3 weeks ago in the Khan Yunis area. And Daif now, with that assassination, that confirmation of his death, he becomes the most senior Hamas member inside the Gaza Strip to have been killed by the Israeli military. And this announcement, we do need to remember, comes just a day after the death of Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas's Politburo. He was assassinated when he was in Tehran for the inauguration of that president there. So certainly a lot of worry in the region that this could certainly escalate the situation. And while Israel hasn't yet come out to actually claim Ismail Haniyeh's assassination, it is certainly widely believed to be behind it.
Sarah, also tell us what's the situation there on the ground as these threats of retaliation mount.
There is certainly a lot of fear on the ground. Right now, it is the peak of summer. I'm not sure if our cameras can pick it up just behind me. Big stretches of beach, big stretches of promenade. And right now, they are normally packed at this time of the year, but they have been deserted. If you look around, there's barely anyone out on the park area, on the taillet or on the beach. People are simply staying home close to their bomb shelters out of fear of retaliation from Iran and these other proxies around the region. Now, while the IDF's Home Front Command hasn't actually changed the directorate for the Israeli public, we do understand that a lot of people have been visiting supermarkets, panic buying supplies. And the mayor of Haifa, which is about an hour or so north of where I'm standing here, while there has been no change to that IDF Home Front Command directive, that mayor of Haifa has come out to tell people in that area to stay very close to shelters. So it certainly is a very worrying time, given what we've been hearing from Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He's been vowing retaliation against Israel.
All right, Sarah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro signals willingness for talks with the US if Washington shows Caracas due respect. And New Delhi will soon be home to the world's largest museum. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Amidst international pressure to ensure transparency, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has promised to release all the vote tallies from a disputed weekend election. On Wednesday, Maduro said his Socialist Party was ready to release all of its vote tallies and urged the top court to force opposition parties to do the same. Meanwhile, shops and public transport across Venezuela remained shut as tensions continued over President Maduro's win. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has said Wednesday that he would be willing to resume talks with the United States if Washington shows Venezuela due respect. During a press conference, Maduro said he was open to re-establish talks under the Qatar agreement.
If the US government is willing to respect Venezuela's sovereignty and stop threatening Venezuela, we can resume the dialogue, but only based on a single point, the fulfillment of the Qatar agreement.
Now, India's southern state of Kerala is going through its worst ever natural disaster as official figure on death toll reaches 180 and 94 body parts have been recovered so far. The relief operations are ongoing. The Indian Air Force, in coordination with other agencies such as NDRF and state administration, has been carrying on airlifting critical logistics supplies as well as evacuation operations. The Indian Army battalions are working on Class 24 Bailey Bridge, which is expected to be fully operational at the earliest. Search has been intensified to look out for the missing, as several people are still feared trapped. And now all the updates related to Paris Olympics. Shooter Swapnil Kusale secured India's third medal at the Paris 2024 Olympic shooting competition after finishing third in the men's 50-meter rifle three positions final at the National Shooting Centre on Thursday. The 28-year-old finished third with 195 in standing after 156.8 in the prawn and 153.3 in the kneeling rounds. Swapnil had finished 7th in the qualifying round with a total score of 590, including 38 inner tens from three positions. Swapnil has become the first Indian shooter to win an Olympic medal in the men's 50-meter rifle three positions event. This is India's third shooting medal. The first medal came on Monday when Manu Bhaker claimed a bronze in women's 10-meter air pistol event, making her the first Indian shooter to win an Olympic medal. Bhaker made history again on Tuesday by winning another bronze with Sarabjot Singh in the 10-meter pistol mixed team event. She became the first post-independence Indian athlete to win two medals in a single Olympic edition. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to social media platform X to extend his heartfelt wishes to Swapnil. He wrote, and I quote, this is what he tweeted: "Exceptional performance by Swapnil Kusale. Congrats to him for winning the bronze medal in men's 50-meter rifle three positions at the Paris Olympics 2024. His performance is special because he has shown great resilience and skills. He is also the first Indian athlete to win a medal in this category. Every Indian is filled with happiness," unquote. All right, let's go across to Paris now. DD India's Narayan Singh is joining us live from there. Narayan, this event was not amongst the strongest challenge from India, and no Indian had even qualified in the Olympics in this event. Considering all these factors, tell us, how do we see this win of Swapnil Kusale?
Abhishek, as you mentioned, the importance of this category, we can say that it's a monumental watershed and once in a blue moon achievement for the Indian shooting, considering the fact that winning a medal in the rifle three position, 50-meter three position is we can say that was a difficult task, but our shooters, the kind of performance he delivered here at the Shataru shooting range, we can say that it will be remembered in the annals of Indian history, considering the fact that India already bagged two medals earlier in the 10-meter air pistol and the mixed team event by Manu Bhaker in the singles and the mixed team Manu Bhaker along with Sarabjot Singh. This third medal shows that the caliber and the talent of Indian shooting, and it was the Kusale's first Olympic. He was there in the professional shooting since 12 years, but his cool and composed nature, as he after his match winning, bronze medal match winning, he said that it's like we can say dream come true, and he's also inspired by the former Indian cricket team captain MS Dhoni. He said that he watched his biopic 7 and 8 times, and he is inspired by him. And both the, if you take a personality of both the character of both the players is cool and calm, and these are the traits which are the prerequisites of the game of shooting, and that's why the way Kushal he maintained his cool and composure, definitely we can say that it's a dream come true for Swapnil as well as for the Indian shooting fraternity.
Absolutely, indeed, it's a dream come true for Swapnil and for the entire country also. But Narayan, disappointing loss for India in hockey against Belgium. But good thing is that India is already through to the quarters. And apart from this, also tell us about other events lined up today.
As you mentioned, hockey, the way India started their match against Belgium, they were leading 1-0. But we know that Belgium is one of the strongest team in the world of hockey, winning all the medals between 2018 and 22, winning the World Cup, European Championship, FIH Pro League and European Championship. So against a team, the kind of performance India delivered, I think it's a fantastic. And this shows that India will definitely win a medal here at the Paris Games, because we all know that just taking a lead against a team like Belgium, and just it's sort of a marginal difference for 2-1. And when we talked to players, they said that it was too humid, the conditions were very tough. But all in all, great hockey by our players. And we can say that last time they won the bronze medal, and this time around we are hoping that they will change the color of the medal here at the Paris Games. A good preparation by the hockey team, and also we can say that swan song for the goalkeeper Srijesh. So all in all, I think they will come collectively, and in the coming matches, especially against Australia, they will again bounce back and will deliver a fantastic performance here, and they will go to quarterfinals. We hope that they will just make their efforts better, and with better approach they will come there. And talking about today's event, as the women's 50-meter three position writers are underway, we are hoping that the Sift Kaur Samra and Anju will do, but in the first two, in the prone and in the kneeling position, they are beyond 20, and only top 8 will qualify, hoping that they will bounce back in the third, that is in standing category.
All right, Narayan, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Now, New Delhi will soon be home to the world's largest museum. The new Yuge Yugin Bharat National Museum will narrate the story of India spanning across 5,000 years. The Cultural Ministry organized the State Museum Conclave in Delhi to foster collaboration among state museums and the central government. More in this report.
Curators, administrators of museums and domain experts gathered in Delhi for a 3-day conclave to foster collaboration between the centre and states for the proposed Yuge Yugin Bharat National Museum project.
भारत के ऐतिहासिक वैभव को, भारत की लेगेसी को देखने के प्रति लोगों की उत्सुकता बढ़ी है। ऐसे समय में भारत के म्यूजियम्स को हम किस तरह से विश्व स्तरीय बना सकें, उनके उसमें आने वाले लोगों का एक्सपीरियंस जो है उसको अपलिफ्ट कर सकें।
The upcoming Yuge Yugin Bharat National Museum, built to be the largest museum in the world, will have 8 thematic segments telling the story of India spanning over 5,000 years.
So we want to capture that diversity as part of the Yuge Yugin Bharat Museum, and various states have very beautiful museums which have different kind of artifacts, and I think the artifacts that are there in the south, like the Chola bronzes, are very different from artifacts which are there in Kashmir, which, like say for example the Harwan tiles from Kashmir. So we are going to get all of them together as part of a collaborative effort. So the focus is on collaboration.
The conclave seeks to ensure the best global practices in museum management, conservation and collection handling. Representatives from state and union territories look to learn from this particular exchange of ideas and best practices.
We will giving presentation on the Silver Gel Memorial. It's a big memorial, and everybody knows that it is after the, when Britishers were there, that was the jail for the prisoners in India. So we will be giving presentation on that.
The State Museum Conclave marks the third phase in a series of capacity-building initiatives undertaken by the GLAM division of the Ministry of Culture. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks air on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.